In a faraway kingdom called Obodu, there lived a powerful king named Chinedu. He was very proud and liked to show off how he had won 7 wars and captured 7 mighty cities from his enemies. King Chinedu was so bossy that he commanded everyone to bow down to him whenever he passed through the village. If anyone dared not to, they would be punished with death. As time passed, King Chinedu still hadn't found a wife. He wanted to marry the most beautiful maiden in the kingdom. But year after year, none of the maidens caught his eye. He thought they weren't pretty enough for him. One day, the arrogant King Chinedu roamed the village with his guards, inspecting his lands. As he surveyed his fruitful kingdom, his eyes fell upon a maiden of exceptional beauty. She was like a radiant flower in a blooming garden, her presence captivating all who beheld her. Her eyes shimmered like dewdrops in the morning light, reflecting the purity of her soul. Her smile, as warm as the gentle sunshine, brought joy to all around her. Each of her movements was like a dance guided by the heaven's breeze. Fascinated by her beauty, King Chinedu could not resist the urge to have her in his palace. He commanded his men to bring her to him immediately. When they found her, the maiden humbly requested 3 days to prepare herself before appearing before the king. Respecting her wish, King Chinedu granted her request. The maiden retreated to her home, determined to make herself even more beautiful for her encounter with the king. Soldiers of the king arrived at Isioma's humble abode and escorted her to the grand palace. As she stood before the king, his eyes gleamed with admiration. He spoke with a calm demeanor. "What is your name, fair maiden?" "My name is Isioma, my king," she replied softly. "Isioma, what a lovely name for such a radiant beauty." "Whose child are you?" inquired the king. "I am the daughter of Chigozi, the great palm wine tapper who departed from this world many moons ago," answered Isioma. The king's expression softened, offering his condolences for her loss. Then, with pride in his voice, he declared his grandeur, boasting of his wealth, fame, and wisdom. "I am the greatest king among the 7 villages," he proclaimed. "You have 3 days to accept my proposal of becoming my wife. No maiden has ever refused me, and if you dare, you shall face dire consequences," he warned, his laughter echoing through the palace halls. Meanwhile, the town crier traversed the 7 villages, announcing the impending nuptials of the king. "Great Indi Igbo, in 7 days the mighty king of Obodo shall wed. Those who refuse to attend or come empty-handed shall face punishment," cried the crier. The villagers reacted with a mix of emotions. Some rejoiced at the prospect of celebration, while others whispered curses under their breath. Curiosity lingered in the air as they speculated about the identity of the king's bride. And so, they busied themselves with preparations, eager to avoid the king's wrath and witness the grand spectacle that awaited them. On the grand day of celebration, Maiden Isioma and King Chinedu exchanged vows and were joined in marriage amidst the cheers of the villagers. As a token of her affection, Isioma gifted the king a seal bangle, a symbol of their love. Yet, as soon as Chinedu adorned it, darkness shrouded the skies, and bats swirled around the palace, striking fear into the hearts of the people. But soon the clouds parted, and calm returned, paving the way for a lavish feast where laughter and joy filled the air. In the days that followed, the once blissful union began to sour. Isioma's presence became a burden to King Chinedu, and misfortune plagued his kingdom. Enemies triumphed, his vigor waned, and he lost dominion over the 7 villages. Youth slipped from his grasp, leaving him aged beyond his years. He became a prisoner in his palace, haunted by specters that only he could see. A mysterious illness gripped him, defying all attempts at remedy. Desperate for relief, King Chinedu sought the counsel of the realm's most powerful sorcerer, hoping for salvation from his plight. At a mere 38 years, he languished, his once vibrant spirit eclipsed by the shadows of his suffering, while Isioma remained barren, adding to his anguish. As the sorcerer began her mystical rites, the entire palace gathered to witness the unfolding events. Suddenly, amidst the solemn atmosphere, Isioma's laughter rang out, tinged with sorrow. All eyes turned to her, puzzled and concerned, as whispers filled the air. Drawing closer to Queen Adanma, Isioma's voice trembled with emotion as she spoke. "I shall never witness your child ascend to the throne." Queen Adanma, taken aback, sought answers in the unfolding tale. Isioma's voice carried the weight of history as she recounted a story from ages past. Once, a benevolent king wedded a radiant maiden named Queen Isioma. For 3 decades, they longed for an heir, until finally a daughter blessed their union. Yet the king yearned for a son to inherit his legacy. One fateful night, in a drunken stupor, he succumbed to folly, and Adanma, Queen Isioma's confidant, seized the opportunity to fulfill her ambitions. Betrayed and heartbroken, Isioma faced Adanma, her once friend turned rival. "Why betray our friendship for power?" she cried out. Adanma, unrepentant, confessed her desire for royalty and her manipulation of the king's weakness. Isioma wept, mourning the betrayal that shattered their bond. In a twist of fate, both women conceived, but Isioma bore a son first, destined to inherit the throne. In her grief and fury, she vowed to thwart Isioma's ambitions, ensuring that Obinna would never ascend the throne as long as she drew breath. Prince Obinna's kindness shone bright, while Prince Chinedu's arrogance cast a shadow. While Prince Obinna roamed the wilds in pursuit of game, Queen Adanma's envy brewed a dark plot. Men were hired to assassinate Prince Obinna, and the city guards were ordered to bar his return. After 3 days, the guards returned with bloodied garments, claiming Prince Obinna had fallen to a wild beast. The king, shattered by grief, succumbed to despair and passed away. Soon after, tragedy struck again. Flames engulfed Queen Isioma and her daughter, their cries for help echoing in the night. A lone savior arrived too late to save the queen, leaving her daughter scarred by the flames. Isioma, with a knowing laugh, unveiled her scarred face, revealing the truth hidden behind a mask of innocence. The scarred girl, now grown, vowed vengeance alongside her brother, Prince Obinna, who miraculously returned from the wild. Chaos erupted as Prince Obinna claimed his birthright as king, banishing Prince Chinedu and his mother from the kingdom. Stripped of their titles, they were driven away in disgrace. Under King Obinna's rule, prosperity flourished, earning him a legacy as the wealthiest and most beloved king of his time. His reign marked by peace and prosperity for over a decade.